The girl was attending her mother's funeral, but when the mother's tombstone was unwrapped, she was stunned to find her own name engraved upon it. Faced with this absurd mistake, her father not only failed to notice the error, but silently stared at her like the other onlookers. Just as the girl felt utterly bewildered, the scene shifted. She awoke in her family car, gazing at her mother's ashes in her hands, and instinctively thought her grief had caused a hallucination. Only when the funeral home staff opened her car door, and she reunited with her father, did she regain some composure. But soon, she noticed something else odd. Not a single person among the mourners was anyone she recognized. Lost in confusion, she accidentally bumped into an elderly woman. Her father immediately stepped in to comfort Anne. Then he happened to spot a florist shop nearby, and decided to buy a bouquet for his wife. After watching her father walk away, strange occurrences began anew. Though she stood dozens of meters away from the crane transporting tombstones, and could distinctly hear the music playing inside the crane cab, suddenly, ash drifted onto the driver's arm. As he instinctively flinched, the control lever slipped from his grasp. The mechanical arm holding the tombstone swung toward Anne. As the steel cable snapped, the monument crashed straight down upon her. By the time her father emerged from the florist, she lay dying in his arms. Just as she gasped her last breath, her watch froze at 4:45. Amid her father's anguished wails, the deceased and found herself back in the car once more, seeing her mother's urn still clutched in her hands. Before she could discern whether it had been a dream, the shaken Anne was once again led off the vehicle by staff. Just as before, she followed her father through the mourning crowd. Then, as last time, he headed toward that peculiar florist shop. As the crane transporting the tombstone approached her once more, her past memories resurfaced, stirring an involuntary fear. And it was precisely this instinctive step back that caused her to collide with the elderly woman again. Indeed, everything felt so familiar. To avoid being crushed by the tombstone once more, the girl could only scramble toward the flower shop in panic. When the florist saw and burst in, he insisted her father buy her a bouquet too. Convinced the shopkeeper was cursing his daughter, her father decided to return the flowers they'd already purchased. This provoked the florist's displeasure, and as they began shoving each other, and heard that familiar song again, only this time, it played from a battered cell phone. As her father and the florist accidentally stumbled, the scissors in the florist's hand plunged into Anne's chest. Just as her consciousness began to fade, she noticed the wall clock pointing to 4:45. It was precisely through this death that Anne, upon waking, realized she might be trapped in a loop. Thinking this, she didn't wait for the staff to open the door, but hurriedly rushed off the bus, and frantically explained the sequence of events to her father. But he refused to believe such absurdity. Left with no choice, and once again attended her mother's funeral. This time, determined to avoid repeating the past outcome, she warned her father not to clash with the florist, knowing he intended to buy flowers. Though somewhat confused, her father agreed. Hearing this, Anne's face twisted in astonishment. She immediately demanded loudly why he needed 2 bouquets. Then she noticed the shopkeeper's peculiar expression. That familiar dread washed over her once more. Just then, the pressure cooker muffled by the rag stirred. With a deafening bang, the steel lid nearly smashed into the girl's head. Realizing something was terribly wrong, and spun and fled, only to collide once more with the same elderly woman. Seeing her father now chasing after her, the utterly distraught girl could only ask in terror why he had bought 2 bouquets. Just then, her father lunged forward and tackled her to the ground. Turning to look, she realized an electrical wire had fallen into a puddle. It was her father who had saved her.